Now, if you're anything like me, you've been gaming on PC for quite a while. And it turns out about 8 or so years ago, something happened onto an open platform like the PC that truly caused massive ripples in the gaming space and really put into perspective what companies will do in order to try and gain your money. And that is the launch of the Epic Game Store. And throughout those 8 years, things really didn't go well. We saw many games get money hatted and locked away as exclusive onto the Epic Game Store, requiring users to create an account and then put money and invest into a platform that had less than 1% of all the features they were already used to on Steam. But Epic didn't stop there. They tried to coerce people with free games, even though nobody really cared, because the more games that were put free on the Epic Game Store, the more sales they would actually get on Steam instead. Dave Oshry of New Blood, in fact, proved that, signifying that the Epic Game Store is a great marketing tool for having more sales on Steam. And of course, Tim Sweeney and the Epic Games team continue to do the exact same thing over and over again, trying to push and bully Valve into lowering their commission standard by trying to go through and lock games away from that platform, coercing developers and publishers to push their games onto the Epic Games Store instead and not provide it where the users, in fact, wanted to buy their games in the first place. But apparently, all that, in fact, could be changing, because it looks like now a lot of publishers are noticing, hey, putting our games on Epic, taking a bag with this company isn't beneficial for us at all. In fact, it ruins the goodwill across users, and all it really does is provide the perception that this company is only here to collect money and do nothing else in terms of a product. And that perception has been spread around all over the internet. But it looks like one company is finally and doing the one thing no other publisher or developer has done before, and that's actually betting on the customer. With Insider Gaming saying this: CI Games ends Lords of the Fallen 2 PC publishing deal with Epic Games. Yeah, that's right. We're now witnessing in real time as publishers and developers are noticing that the Epic Game Store is not what it's cracked up to be. The amount of money they can hand you in a bag is literally not enough for all the bad PR. The 0% commission until you sell 1 million copies is also not enough until you see how many people are not going to buy your game even after it lands onto Steam a year later, maybe even 2. Being stuck with just the money that Epic gives you is clearly not going to be enough, with every other person saying, you know what? Fine, I'll either pirate it or wait for a sale on Steam, getting it at 70% off or even more. But watching as the entire idea of exclusivity on the PC space, or in general, being completely dissolved is exactly what I've been looking for, seeing as how it honestly doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If I don't want to buy a $500 to $900 console to play 1 or 2 video games, why on earth would I sit here and spend the time to download another app, give you more information, and then try and trust in you with my credit card information as well? Clearly, it's not going to be beneficial, and Epic has to do far more to earn your trust and your dollar. Instead, they felt they could do the cheap way around it. But let's see what actually happened and find out why. With the article saying this: Lords of the Fallen 2 is no longer going to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store on PC. On Monday, it was announced by CI Games that its publishing deal with Epic Games has been terminated as of April 4th, 2026. In a letter to investors, CI Games says that the change, quote, will not affect the ongoing cooperation between the parties in relation to the Unreal Engine, Epic Online Services, Epic Account Services, or the company's participation in the Fortnite ecosystem. And each of these relationships will continue and remain governed by the respective separate agreements. Saying, quote, the delay in the disclosure of the confidential information to the public was justified on the grounds that its immediate disclosure could have prejudiced the company's legitimate interests, CI Games said, adding that they didn't believe delaying the announcement could mislead the public. The agreement was conditional in nature. Furthermore, under the agreement, the company undertook not to disclose its execution prior to its entry into force. Now, basically, what that all means is this: they didn't want to mislead the public and also mislead investors. Even though this deal was signed a month ago of separating Lords of the Fallen 2 from Epic Store and the actual exclusivity and publishing aspect there, it really goes to show that a lot of things happen on the back end that people truly don't even know what's going on, especially in the gaming industry. But this brings a lot of goodwill and provides a lot of people exactly what they were looking for. A lot of customers and even users in the gaming space don't want to shop around to other storefronts, have their library fractured, or go to a place that isn't going to treat them with a modicum of respect. And that is exactly what's been going on. Epic Games feels like they can go ahead and buy your actual patronage, when in reality, they have to earn it. It took Steam over 20 years to earn mine. Now Epic has to do the same, but they've got the money for it and the manpower until they basically fired everyone. The problem is, though, is what we're looking at in this space is that too many other publishers and developers take the money up front simply because they're not betting on their own game. They're not trusting on their developers, and they're believing that their product isn't going to be good enough to make the amount of sales back from the actual development costs. And this is a good sign with what CI Games has been doing. It shows that, hey, they're betting on their game. They're looking into what they've been doing, and they're going to push forward and bet that the users on Steam, people on PC, will look at Lords of the Fallen 2 and what they produced and pick that product up. Rather than trying to restrict who buys it, they want to make sure it's available to everyone. With Marek Tymiński on Twitter saying this: Lords of the Fallen 2, important publishing update. Independent developer CI Games today announced that it has signed a separation agreement with Epic Games Publishing. As a result, CI Games has regained full open distribution rights for the PC version of Lords of the Fallen 2, moving away from the previous PC exclusive publishing agreement signed in June 2024. Lords of the Fallen 2 remains scheduled to launch later this year on PC via Epic Games Store and other PC storefronts, as well as on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X. CI Games will self-publish the title across all platforms, while PlayOn continues as the global physical distribution partner. CI Games will continue to utilize Epic technologies, including Unreal Engine 5 and Epic Online Services, powering cross-platform play, matchmaking, friends list, and seamless shared progression co-op. Like many in the industry, CI Games faced challenging market conditions in 2023 and 2024, and Epic Games provided significant funding and strategic support that helped ensure Lords of the Fallen 2 could fully release its ambitions. This partnership enabled CI Games to meaningfully expand upon community feedback from the original Lords of the Fallen, while substantially advancing the sequel across gameplay, technical performance, world design, and online functionality. Quote, Epic was there for CI Games exactly when we needed them most. Their support and belief in the project made a real difference, and for that we are truly grateful, says Marek Tymiński, CEO of CI Games. Epic has also been an outstanding supporter of Lords of the Fallen 2, with Unreal Engine, EOS, and the rest of Epic's world-class tech. We're going to ship a performant game in a massive world that players can explore together across PC and console. With the new agreement now in place, Lords of the Fallen 2 will launch with open PC distribution on day one, including Epic Games Store. And this is what I'm talking about. We're seeing right now in real time that even though things like market conditions have been impacting developers, the gaming industry, and everybody else in between, it really does show a different kind of light when you have a publisher literally sit there and say, you know what? We need to do what's best for the user, what's best for the customer, and trying to take any deal that benefits us is going to impact them negatively. And it clearly shows that people are in fact happy about this. Going to where the users are, putting your games on the platforms that they shop at is exactly what people are wanting. Not having to jump through multiple hoops or restrictions or exclusivity deals or back-end room deals that cause other users to say, you know what, that's too much work. I don't want to give you an email. I don't want to give you my info or my payment info at all. Hell, we didn't want to give PlayStation an email for a PSN login on a game we already bought. And what'd they do? They took their ball and they went home. CI Games is doing the opposite. They're betting on us as users to say, you know what? If we provide the product to more places, there'll be more opportunity for them to in fact purchase it, which will be beneficial for us and good for them. They get it where they want, we get the copy sold, and that is a good thing. Hell, you know what? The responses to that tweet really proved that point. With Fume Gaming saying the second that it's available to pre-order on Steam, you got my deluxe edition sale. Good move, guys. Noir saying you guys have gone above and beyond on trying to please gamers. I'll be there day one. That guy Pyro's saying massive W. Steam users will pay full price compared to any Epic game puts on its platform for free. Exclusivity hurts communities and those who helped build the franchise. Ed Madness saying great news for the consumer, letting them choose. You have my respect. This, in my opinion, is a massive win and a great way for Epic Games to finally realize the plan that they've been doing. The ability for them to go through and just dump money all over the place isn't a viable plan to get users onto their platform. They've seen how people don't stick around, how literally they'll open the Epic Game Store, collect their free game, close the Epic Game Store, leave, and go back to Steam, playing their games the way they want to, having access to their games no matter what, having a better refund policy, better customer service, all the options, and hell, even a store cart and the ability to gift games to their friends. Epic Game Store has done none of those things, provided zero updates, has done anything to upgrade their store at all whatsoever, and clearly people are not going to be coerced by exclusivity just because Epic Games dangles a bag of money in front of a publisher or developer. This also connects to the entire gaming industry as well. We're watching as PlayStation is pulling their games away from the PC platform. Rumored, by the way, but I can see PlayStation being petty enough to in fact do this. And Epic Game Store still doubling and tripling down on thinking that exclusivity is a viable option for people to try and coerce them onto a storefront, when in reality, it hasn't worked so far. Why would it in fact work now? This ridiculous behavior of companies and corporations doing every dirty trick in the book to try and bring you to their place really doesn't bode well for anyone. And all it does is prove that these companies don't care about you as a customer. All they care about is the money being brought to them by everyone else. We're watching as the consumer and customer is being pushed out of the industry, whether it's by increased prices, increased GPU prices, SSD, RAM, consoles, online services, and everything else getting massive price increases due to market conditions. Yet here we are watching as a game publisher and developer says, you know what? Forget it. We're going to bet on the right people, the ones that actually buy our product, the ones that are literally going to be behind us the entire time. And this is going to be, in my opinion, the real success point for this game. Seeing as how Lords of the Fallen 2 can reach a bigger audience, have more users, have more players, and not have to worry about a bag being given to them by the Epic Game Store to in fact stay afloat. It would be honestly fantastic if other publishers and developers saw this exact same process, and other places as well in the console gaming space could see this too. If Lords of the Fallen 2 becomes a massive success sales-wise, that's going to be fantastic for them, not only selling great on PC, but also across every other platform as well. Why on earth would they sit there and put a game on PS5 and the Xbox, but yet lock the game to the Epic Game Store on PC? That makes no sense whatsoever. And I think the best part about this story isn't the fact that they're doing this and going for the customer and consumer. It's the fact that this studio, this publisher, and this developer are saying, you know what? The consumer and the gamer is who we need to cater to. And that's so rare to hear these days. With Gimme Banhammer saying this, all right, strong but very well deserved credit where it's due. I made a post last year criticizing Lords of the Fallen 2 devs for making their game Epic Store exclusive, even as they kept saying they are, quote, for the players. I was very not chill with CI Games and Merrick back then. Then imagine my complete pleasant shock that I now learned that CI Games announced that they got out of the Epic exclusivity, largely because players like me said, we didn't like it. So Merrick and CI Games official, I was honestly not expecting this. And you certainly didn't have to take my and others' complaints to heart, but you did. I guess just for walking the talk and showing you take your words seriously, I will have to give Lords of the Fallen 2 a genuine chance when it comes out. Thank you for listening to us. And it's actually wild how the gaming industry can't understand this. So many decisions being made simply for the pocketbook and the investors and everybody else on the board of directors, when in reality, the decisions that should be made should be for the customer and the consumer. What's best for them? What plan is going to be good for them to want to go ahead and support our product? Not trying to find a cheap way of screwing them out of money every single time. And it's kind of wild how all you really have to do to gain just a small bit of actual goodwill from users and even have them open up their wallets is simply to listen and act correctly. Behave in the way that is best for the user. Do the right thing for the customer. And even though it may be small and insignificant on the corporate side, for the user itself and the person buying the product, it's a massive thing to see. Watching as publishers and developers listen to users and the actual customer itself and the person who plays the game, especially when they're the ones who want to have our money in the first place. If more publishers and developers did this, gaming would be in an incredibly different situation. And honestly, CI Games should be a perfect example of what to do in the gaming space and how to listen to their user base. Other companies as well, like Grinding Gear Games and so many others, do this exact same thing and gain so much goodwill that other companies don't even know how it's occurred, when in reality, all they ever had to do was just listen. Hopefully, this starts a trend in the positive direction for everybody to finally understand the people who have the power are not the developers, not the publishers, not the suits, and not the board of directors, but instead the power in fact relies on people like you and me. The people who have the ability to go out and buy the product that these companies so desperately try to sell. So you know what? I want to hear what you got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think CI Games made the right call? Are you going to pick up Lords of the Fallen 2 now because it's going on Steam? Or does all of this really not matter to you? I want to hear what you got to say. If you want to see more of this kind of content though, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 10K subs, and it's going to be pretty insane watching this channel grow as well, and you to hang out with us too. Oh, and speaking of hanging out, I'm probably streaming right now. In fact, I stream every day, Monday to Friday, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. We're doing Lego Batman and then trying a bunch of other stuff. So check it out. With all that being said though, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.